All right, so I wanted to be able to answer your questions, but without having to type a book. So, the way NYP works is that it is a gifted program on an accelerated pacing. And what this means for our students is in sixth grade, their math and ELA are taught as a combination of sixth and seventh grade content on that accelerated pacing. Both math and ELA are that way. World history and science are what the state says we have to teach in terms of content, but they're taught on a higher reading and writing level, and they're more hands-on, like what a student would do in Reach. Then for Spanish or German, we take what would be the first high school level Spanish or German, and we split it between grades 6, 7, and 8. And so in sixth grade, they're going to start learning the basics, alphabet, numbers, that kind of thing. But by the time they finish, they should be able to do basic reading, writing, and speaking in German. And then theater arts, again, is a continuation of that higher grade level in terms of reading and writing. And then they have certain electives that they have to take. They have to take PE and health, and then they'll have room for 1 to 2 other electives. Then what this then looks like going into seventh grade is their math and ELA are going to be a combination of seventh and eighth grade skills. They take world geography and life science, but again, those are taught on a higher reading and writing level. They're doing activities that some of that their peers at other schools may not be doing. They're going to continue in their foreign language and in theater arts, and then with those electives. In eighth grade, you can see there are 4 classes on the screen that have asterisks. These are high school credit classes. So whatever the student makes in that class, and those 4 classes goes with them to the high school. In addition, we offer a class that is a computer class. It's called Fundamentals of Computing. It has 2 parts. And if the student completes both parts, usually they do one in 7th grade and one in 8th grade, they get high school credit for that as well. And they have to have 1 computer credit to graduate from high school. So when they finish 8th grade with us, they would have 5 of their 24 credits necessary to graduate. Now, with science and social studies in 8th grade, they are not high school credit courses. However, they are taught on that upper level. And this is especially important in SC history because when they leave us, if they stay in IB, they're going to go to 9th grade at Wilson High School, where they're going to take government and economics. This is traditionally a 12th grade course, and they have the option to take AP, advanced placement, which earns college credit and high school credit at the same time. So in 9th grade, they're going to continue with English 2. They're going to continue with the second actual level of their language. They're going to take NYP biology, which is typically a 10th grade course. They take 2 maths in 9th grade, Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. And then they have to take PE. This is the last time they have to take PE. And then they get to choose some other electives. Now, it depends on if they choose to take AP and things like that as to how many electives they can take that year. So some big differences between our program and not our, a traditional school in District 1. If a student goes to Sneed, they can take English 1 and geometry, and they can take that computer class, and they can take those 3 credits with them to high school. They would then go to 9th grade at West Florence, and they would take English 2, and they would take Algebra 1, like the NYP kids would. But what's very, very different is that the social studies and the science they would take in 9th grade at West Florence is not going to be a class they need to graduate. It doesn't mean the class isn't meaningful. It just means that basically, in essence, it's going to count almost like an elective. They're still going to have to take biology in 10th grade, and they're still going to have to take government and econ in 12th grade to graduate. We don't have the students in MYP take any class that they don't need to graduate. So that continues into 10th grade, where they're taking English 3. They're going to take the 3rd and 4th levels of their foreign language. Everybody has to take U.S. history, but they have the option to take AP. Again, that is college credit. They take MYP chemistry, pre-calculus, and then whatever electives they want. So Wilson has a pretty good diversity of electives that they can choose from. They have some STEM, they have some art, they have, other things that the students might be interested in. This is not the STEM high school though. So if your student is really looking for a lot of STEM classes, that's going to be West Lawrence. Now, at the end of 10th grade, the student has to make a choice, because 10th grade is the last year of MYP, or the middle years program. So at the end of 10th grade, your student will have everything that he would need to graduate except English 4 and a 4th history class. So the student would have to decide what do they want to do. And I actually left an option off here because it's so new that I haven't even seen the requirements to get into it yet, but I'll explain it. So they have technically 4 choices. They have the IB diploma program, which I'm going to talk about on the next slides. They have dual credit, Governor's School, which is a boarding style school, and there are 3 of them in the state. There's one for math and sciences in Hartsville. There's one for the arts in Greenville, and there's one for agriculture in McCormick County, kind of close to Clemson. So these are options that these students have. The 4th option, which is very new, the ribbon cutting ceremony is this week, is for the new Pointer Medical Sciences High School. It will be an application process. I don't know exactly what will be offered there in terms of specific programs. I would imagine you're looking at a lot of classes that deal with like anatomy and physiology, sports medicine, maybe the CNA, certified nursing assistant program that is currently at the Career Center. This information has not been shared with us yet in terms of what specifically will be offered. It would be available for 11th and 12th graders. So the student would have to decide what they want to do. And I'll use my personal daughter, who is a senior this year, as an example. She did MYP for grades 7 through 10. We didn't have it in 6th grade when she came through yet. And at the end of 10th grade, she decided to go the dual credit route. What this means for her, she's doing a special program through Francis Marion. She is doing pre-nursing. She wants to go to school to be a nurse. And she has taken nothing but college classes this year, her 12th grade year, and last year in 11th grade, she did 2 college classes each semester, and then she took anatomy and physiology, sports med 1 and 2, where she learned things that she would need to be a nurse, and things that would allow her to transition more easily into college. And she'll go to Francis Marion. She doesn't even have to apply because she's in this program. She automatically transitions in. And at the end of her quote unquote freshman year, in terms of coursework, she'll technically be a sophomore. But at the end of that first year she completes, she'll apply for nursing school. And so that's a lot of classes that we didn't have to pay for. You can do the same thing, though, through IB Diploma Program or Governor's School. However, IB Diploma Program is not going to be as course-specific. It's where I would encourage a student to go if they knew they had to get a liberal arts type degree where they're going to have to take a little bit of everything, or they're not sure what they want to do yet. but they know they want to go to college, or if they know they want to go to a college out of state. So dual credit is only good for state South Carolina supported schools. Those classes, if my daughter chose not to go to Francis Marion, her classes would transfer into other South Carolina state schools. Diploma program may or may not go to all schools. Now, a lot of schools accept it. I just had to, put that out there. Governor's School is also kind of specialized because obviously you're going for math and sciences or arts or agriculture or whatever. And so, that's going to be for kids who have that specific interest. And then the medical high school is going to be the same way. So with diploma program, we operate on what's called a big college schedule. They're going to earn 18 to 24 college credit hours. And you can see over here on the side, that big college schedule, we have the kids taking as many AP courses as we can beginning in 9th grade. So they can do AP Government, they can do AP US History, AP Calculus, and then these DP courses are international style classes. They all require an exam, a big exam that everyone takes to get out of IB. But some of them will also have an AP exam. So I know, for example, Spanish has an AP exam. So the students will take the IB exam and the AP Spanish exam to get the biggest bang for their buck in terms of college credit. So most kids who go all the way through DP, they enter college as sophomores. We have kids who go to Harvard, Yale, Clemson, USC, College of Charleston, University of California at Berkeley. We have a student who is, I think she's a sophomore this year. She's going to an American university in China. Kids have a lot of opportunities if they go the DP route. The classes are more challenging. They're definitely what would be more of a college level course that you would take in your first 2 years of a regular college. They require writing, a good bit of writing, because the exams, when you take them, require written and spoken portions. And then the other thing that we do in MYP that looks really good for college is you have to do community service. So first of all students have to do 4 community service activities per year minimum. Now, you can do more than that. And I definitely encourage students to keep track of what they have done, because you can put it with your college application. Then in 8th grade, they have to do a community project. And with this project, they identify an area in the community that needs help, or the teacher over it will identify 4 or 5 areas that they could choose from to kind of help them narrow it down. And then they have to plan what they want to do. They're the ones that have to make communication with the organizations. They're the ones who have to plan and actually execute what they want to do, and then they have to reflect on it. So if it's a total failure, that's okay. They need to learn from that experience. What should they have done better? And then 10th grade, they do a personal project, which is very similar to the community project, except it's something that they want to accomplish personally. It could be family research. My daughter, when she was in 10th grade, decided she wanted to learn to cook authentic Italian food. And so she had to find the recipes. She had to find the ingredients. She had to, try them out, and we had to taste test them and all that kind of stuff. But it helps them learn a lot of different skills that, we take for granted as adults. And, we do program-sponsored activities. They can do activities on their own. But these are all things that help make them a holistic learner, but also gain some of those skills that they need to be successful.